Now it's time to launch our first panel of the day. This one will be dedicated to ocean literacy for marine ecosystem resilience. We are connecting two major topics, so marine ecosystem resilience and the ocean literacy. Why? Because without knowing what to protect, we cannot be resilient. So we are trying to understand more about the sea next to us, and it's never enough. And I think the scientists will always agree that still it's something there to investigate and to know and to see how these knowledge will support our resilience as coastal communities close to the Black Sea. And it's my pleasure to invite three distinguished speakers. I will start, and please join us. Try to pick the chair that is according to the panel photo. So I will invite Mr. Stavros Kalognomos, Executive Secretary of the Balkan and Black Sea Commission of the Conference of Peripheral Maritime Regions. This is an organization that is uniting a lot of regions of Europe to 24 states and works as an advocate for balanced European territorial development and maritime cooperation. Welcome, Stavros. Mr. Marian Paiu, Executive Director of Mare Nostrum NGO from here, Constanța, with more than 15 years dedicated to protecting the Black Sea environment, but also today representing the EU for Ocean Coalition and working under ocean literacy and biodiversity initiatives. And Mr. Erdem Vardar, from the founding chair and director of the Yuva Association in Turkey, leading a cross-border cooperation, education and sustainability project since 2010, and an advocate for environmental literacy and community resilience in the region. Let's welcome them with a good round of applause. And well, your role begins to start and be more relevant because you have the Slido QR there to ask your questions. So you need to go to the panel that is called Ocean Literacy for Marine Ecosystems and ask your questions for our panel. I really hope, if my speakers will be on in time, that we have the chance to take some questions from the audience. And now let's start with the first round of questions for you. In this way, our audience will know you a bit more, or maybe from a different perspective. So, Stavros, how do you think that scientific knowledge and the skills development can boost ocean literacy and can empower the communities?
So first of all, thank you very much for the invitation. It's a great pleasure to be in Constanța. We'd also like to thank, on behalf of the Conference of Peripheral Maritime Regions, the CPMR and its Balkan Black Sea Commission, the Ukrainian coordinators for this excellent coordination despite the difficulties they face. And I'm here to share with you some concrete project examples to see about ocean literacy and how skills and knowledge intertwine. So I would like to start with CUL-MAR-SKILLS project. That is an Erasmus Plus project coordinated by the Romanian Naval Academy based here in Constanța. This is an Erasmus Plus project about soft skills and culinary arts and ongoing seafaring activities. So we combine entrepreneurship, knowledge, because when it comes to culinary arts, we need to know how to manage the resources of the sea, how to manage the waste, and how to create skills for youngsters. By the way, this project, as an Erasmus Plus project, is the third consecutive project. So we spin off from the different projects we have. We started with a first Erasmus Plus project a few years ago about maritime education and training. Our Romanian partner was Constanța Maritime University. That project was led by Peripheral University in Istanbul in Turkey. Then we had a sister project about soft skills, coordinated by the University of the Aegean in Greece, almost the same consortium. And now we have the third. By the way, that project was identified as a Black Sea success story. I remember in Bucharest that it was mentioned there. And now we have the CUL-MAR-SKILLS. With this project, what we are trying to do is to bring in the knowledge from different scientific fields and see with seafarers, with the shipping world, how it works. So during that project, we also had meetings, online meetings, with seafarers, with crews on board, at the global level, to see how they manage the skills, how they manage the resources and waste management, for instance, when it comes to cruise ships. And we try to build on this knowledge and also combine with the different projects in which we are involved as CPMR as partners. We also used the Bridge Black Sea knowledge for this project. So it's not only one project when we implement the different policies through EU-funded projects, but we bring in the different partners, the knowledge we have from the different scientific or not projects that we are involved. When it comes to skills, if I could share with you a piece of information from another macro-regional strategy, so it's the EU strategy for the Adriatic-Ionian region. And there, together with the coordinators that are in charge of Pillar 1, the Blue Sustainable Economy, we are working on a blue skills, on a blue pact for skills. So, for the Adriatic-Ionian region, blue economy is coordinated by Greece and Montenegro. The different partners, universities included, bring in their knowledge, and we are setting up a blue pact for skills that will be presented in December this year. And we will share our knowledge with the Black Sea as well, since as a CPMR we are transversal and horizontal across the different bases of Europe. And a very short example of TOURAL, because I know that I'm a bit... so TOURAL is an Horizon Europe project that focuses on cultural tourism. And there we have the pleasure to have also a Black Sea focus. I can see our Romanian partner from Tulcea, from Danube Delta, that is with us. And there we are trying to involve local stakeholders and participate and contribute with their knowledge to the living lab we organize. Because if we don't get the locals involved, all the scientific data and political level knowledge we have will not be assessed or will not be taken into consideration. So we only have to work with all with multi-level governance and get the different levels of stakeholders involved in the different strategies and projects.
This is exactly what we want to hear, how this knowledge can be transferred into real, concrete, local examples. And well, now I feel sorry that we haven't invited the culinary partners. Maybe we could have a more interesting lunch or coffee break. But for next year, maybe they prepare something nice for us, who knows.
We are preparing a cookbook. So
I don't want the book. I don't have time
okay.
to cook. You need to bring it directly, the food. well done. And now, Marian, let's go to see, because we talked about local, but let's see how this ocean literacy local efforts align with the EU broader ambition, meaning that we are having this EU for Ocean coalition, but how this gets translated into what happens to a local level.
Yeah, I think this is a really essential question, and it's essential to have this cooperation between the different factors for achieving sustainable management, especially in sensitive regions as Black Sea. And we already saw what is happening for the past 4 years here. The EU goals outlined in the European Green Deal, for example, in Marine Strategy Framework Directive and also in the CMA, are required informed societal engagement to address specific regional challenges. And some of them we are all aware. But how we transfer this to the broader audience, there are two approaches at least, and which we are seeing them, and also throughout this European EU for Ocean coalition. So this is, one is bottom-up approach, in which local initiatives like, for example, even Mare Nostrum, the NGO that I'm coming from, uses some programs of monitoring aspects or sensitive species in the Black Sea, generating data. And examples like this on marine litter, for one reason, are all over the sea basin and also to the others. So this kind of information brings or validate or involve brings cooperation and contribution at EU level. And I'm saying that since I'm looking on the EMODNet database, which is gathering this kind of data and prove to be useful for the whole development. And then is, of course, the top-down empowerment. And I'm saying empowerment because without fundings, as you were talking before, we cannot do much. But having this allocation of funds, and nowadays there are several funds, and I heard in the previous session that there will be others coming, and some of the examples that made a huge impact are those like Interreg funds that we already use, Horizon Europe, Mission Ocean, like the EU for Ocean Coalition is working. So towards or using this kind of funds, we can actually get together, improve our knowledge, and share that knowledge amongst the different stakeholders and to the top. So by engaging schools, for example, or public authorities, we support the Black Sea's environment targets under different directives. And at least Romania and Bulgaria are bound to these strategic directions that should be communicated and reported on different years, sort of speaking. But in the same time, it's really crucial and to have this kind of information for our enclosed ecosystem. So coming back to the EU for Ocean Coalition that acts as a primary European platform, although not so active in the Black Sea, I may say, but definitely that will improve in the next years. That connects and scales the impact of specialists. And I'm saying specialists because most of the entities involved are having this kind of people. Although we are referring on NGOs, most of the cases, they are having also this kind of expertise, and it's important to be taken into account. Like the same, it's happening with the participants that are doing citizen science towards these activities. Yeah. They fear like their input is not really taken into account because on some aspects are not considered so highly qualified, but then there are these filters of experts within the institutions and NGOs that are acting, which are making this quality check and forward the data far on. So by connecting localized expert effort with a continent network or a continental network, ensures that the entire continent actually is moving towards a shared understanding and protection of the healthy, sustainable, and productive ocean. So EU for Ocean, it's a platform that emerges or engages all these levels. Thank you.
And on that, I know very well the Black Sea community, and I know there are a lot of ocean literacy initiatives here that are not necessarily called ocean literacy, and maybe sometimes you don't connect the action with the concept. But have a look at this EU for Ocean Coalition and try to connect and to make your actions heard. To promote them and also to learn from the others, because this EU for Ocean Coalition aims also to act as a platform for exchange of best practices. So one of the actions that can be there can be also presented as an example in this EU for Ocean Coalition is the project that Erdem is leading, and if you can tell us how you have integrated this science that Marian was talking about into the public awareness and into the local environmental action.
Well, in brief, translating scientific knowledge to short, local, and actionable learning experiences, and by also building other organizations' capacities. How did we do that? We co-designed the whole program, environmental education program, with scientists and local actors. We organized 4 workshops, including more than 60 people, including scientists, NGO people, and young people. In 3 countries we are operating now, Greece, Bulgaria, and Turkey. And we created ready-to-use learning material. We have established an education program and a manual, which you can find also on the Interreg website as well. We have done the trainers programs in international settings and also in local settings. And what we have done also is we tried to limit the scientific knowledge to such an extent that also non-specialists can use it as trainers. So we also use short media like video clips to create awareness about Black Sea, and also local data on our social media. And lastly, we will build also institutional pathways by creating a white paper on ocean literacy, which we want to use as an advocacy tool as well in our countries to push this agenda further. And also we will have an international workshop on this coming December.
I think this is very interesting because at some point we had a lot of environmental education actions. Then I felt in a way that it was some kind of a loss of interest, because maybe, like Marian was saying, people started to be demotivated. And now I think we need another boost for that. And you have showed how we turn science into ocean literacy and into a language that lay people can understand. But I will turn again to Stavros, and I will ask him how we can turn the same blue skills and the same knowledge into something that entrepreneurs can use and can further exploit.
Thank you very much for that. I'd like to start with seizing the opportunity to share with you, because it has to do with bringing the different stakeholders together. So the CPMR holds the Secretariat of the Seas, Rivers, Islands and Coastal Areas. This is Syrica Intergroup of the European Parliament, that is a dynamic forum for the blue community that brings together entrepreneurship, so the different fields, businessmen, local and regional authorities, decision makers, policy makers, and so on. On the 4th of December in Brussels, we are having an event hosted by a member of the European Parliament from the Azores, Portugal, an active member region of the CPMR, about implementing the European Ocean Pact and JP Ocean's new strategy. This is an event open to anyone interested, and we'll share with the Black Sea Assistance Mechanism more information so that you can share with all participants, and they are all more than welcome to see how it works in Brussels when it comes to networking, lobbying activities, and so on. So this is a concrete example. I would like to underline that we do have, as Black Sea, also our Vice Chair. He's an MEP from Bulgaria, Mr. Ilya Lazarov, who is the Vice Chair of Syrica Intergroup, responsible for the Danube and the Black Sea. And we look forward to organizing different events with the Black Sea focus, together with Mr. Lazarov and other stakeholders. We'd also like to see your examples. I've noted down the white paper on ocean literacy, so we could find an opportunity to showcase it at the European level. And this is how it works. So we try to seize the opportunity of different events, major events, and bring the different stakeholders together. So universities, academia, local and regional authorities, decision makers, so that they can exchange.
And the entrepreneurs.
Of course.
Yes, so we need more entrepreneurs.
And more money from different...
Yes, also that. We always turn to money. Thank you very much, Stavros. I will go again to Marian, because also we are going back to our topic of our panel here. And what do you think is the biggest challenge when it comes to turn ocean literacy into real support for ecosystem resilience? Because we talk about ocean literacy, ecosystem resilience, but where this is getting blocked?
It was working before, sorry.
Okay.
That's why I was getting used to it. So there are many directions on which we can go, actually, in tackling this. But one of the biggest that I consider, coming from the civil society, for example, is translating ocean literacy into real support for ecosystem resilience within the gap between knowledge and activism or action. So it's somewhere around attitude-behavior gap. Simply put, a person can be highly informed or educated. For example, we all know that plastic is bad for the ecosystem and environment. Also that ocean regulates temperature, but still fail to constantly change our behaviors or our advocacy for our policies to support the ecosystem resilience. So others speaking, it's something related to our individual actions or activities that can improve the ecosystem resilience. So this challenge somehow arises from several interrelated factors, I can say. One is distance. We see a lot of messages coming about huge problems, but which are distant from us. I mean, bleaching of coral reefs, for example. In the Black Sea, we don't really get that problem. But if we are not making it particular to our sites, that's why we don't engage with it, we don't feel it. Also, other examples will be deep sea mining, which is not yet happening in the Black Sea, but if we are looking on the global scale, there are a lot of actions towards that. So coming with not particular messages for your area can determine a distance from the audience or the public towards those specific issues. And then also the action that we are doing day by day. I said plastic, we know that is bad for the environment, but we know that plastic straws are again dangerous, but still we are continuing to use them. So we fail in cutting off this threat by saying that our small example will not, or not example, action will not improve actually the whole environment. So this kind of thinking, it's bad for our ecosystems. That's why we should actually take in consideration that each small action will contribute in the end on these large-scale events that are happening. So I would go even on systematic or systemic barriers. This is something that impactful pro-ocean behaviors, for example, since there is a gap between all these big projects that are happening and that deserves a policy shift. And we are speaking in Black Sea about oil and gas and also wind farms. Yes. So for the local, for the citizen, they come with the fear of change, which is huge, because they come with costs on some moments, or at least we can think of that cost. And in the same time, they are coming with inconveniences, maybe for fisheries or other industries. But that just because of lack of information and discussion and lack of movement from our decision makers on this political shift that they can make. So in order to overcome it, I think it's a lot of work to do. This gap requires moving beyond simple decision of facts to a holistic action-oriented approach that integrates emotional connection, skill building, and systematic change. And I'm saying that because, as you see, it's something that we should change in us in order to continue to go further. So build efficacy and collective action. That means all stakeholders should be together, as we were mentioning about the EU4Ocean Coalition, that gives you a way of, or a floor in which, or a forum in which to share this knowledge. But if this knowledge and actions are not related to decision makers, industry, and other stakeholders, that will remain just small groups trying to do something and failing in the end, and not ultimately integrated ocean literacy into policy and the industry, because really the big change is coming from there, having good directives, having good, how to call it, requirements, or these kind of things.
Adoption of all the good examples that already exist, I would also say. And let's hear also from Erdem an example of your project or your experience, real-life ocean literacy, because Marian also shared some, but I'm sure that from your point of view, you have your fair share as well.
Well, our project is ongoing, so I will maybe give you some examples from other countries which already succeeded in making even systematic changes. I would continue with Marian's example on plastics, for example. Surfrider Foundation in US has used beach cleanups, actually, which is a very common activity when you talk about ocean literacy, to really push local policy to ban single-use plastics in local level and state level. They actually collected data by consistent beach cleanups and used that data to push for policy change. And this is like also engaging citizens and local people into that. Or another, of course, closer to us example would be in Greece and Turkey, decades of scientific monitoring, rescue, and rehabilitation efforts on monk seals, which also included public education, has actually created the marine protection areas in both countries. And this has also, I can say, saved a lot of lives of the monk seals. So there are a lot of examples where ocean literacy leads to tangible results.
Thank you very much, Erdem. And I think that, well, you have shared a lot of interesting aspects from your experience and your projects. Let's see a bit also our audience. What are your questions, interests, and what you would like to hear from our speakers as well? If you can share us the questions, and let's see which one you will. You would like to take? Well, one that I would like very much, because there are a lot here, and well, I don't see one being mostly voted, so I will take one randomly. Well, it's the prerogative of a moderator, and I will relate to the citizen science one, because you have mentioned it more than once. And how is an NGO tackling volunteer motivation? Because here we have, you have said that people through time consider that their involvement is maybe not so important. How are you tackling motivation? But Marian, really brief.
really brief, then finding these kind of actions that impact their daily life. So as in our case, one of the best example is this related to the ecosystem state throughout monitoring the marine mammals. So showing that the marine mammals are in a good environment status, that will be attractive for people to join this kind of efforts. The same example can go also for the plastics or marine litter, in which they are seeing that participating, they end up an action by successful cleaning that area as well and contributing to large data sets. So further research and monitoring. So giving them a sense of involvement and results on their own, within their own house, let's sort of speaking. Short.
Thank you. I appreciate that you have been brief, and this gives us time to take another question that was also very voted. Is there any plan that you might know for joint education or raising awareness program on ocean literacy among the Black Sea country? So something regional that can be addressed. I see silence. So maybe this is a rhetorical one. I don't know. Yes, Marian, please try it.
I can try it at least, because now it's a campaign within the Youth for Ocean Coalition, bringing your city closer to Europe and the other actions that are happening within the Europe, having a cleaner city. So this kind of action, making a pledge, starting to be active in your community throughout these platforms, can be one of these awareness raising and education contributing activities to the plan, but for the plan.
So We have the Common Maritime Agenda, we have the EU for Ocean Coalition, so Common Maritime Agenda has all the Black Sea, EU for Ocean has the ocean literacy, and now we kickstart and launch the challenge maybe to have a joint awareness raising program on ocean literacy, if this is what you feel that is missing and will be nice to have. And now just to summarize all our discussions, and I see that some of you are eager to talk during the coffee break already. I would like to invite my speakers in this panel for a last very short fired message that the audience will keep in mind about ocean literacy and marine ecosystem resilience during the whole break, whole day, and whole next year. So quite a challenge. Stavros, I see that you are determined. Please go ahead. But short, let's see.
Yes. Get the local communities involved, so get the local and regional authorities involved, because they're the ones that are closest to the citizens. Get the youth involved so that we have sustainable results and capitalize on what we have, otherwise there is no sustainability. So bottom-up approach, as Marian mentioned before, this is the role of regional authorities, and youth involvement so that we have sustainable strategies.
So make it even shorter, talk to each other, especially with the youth. Marian, your key message.
Okay, promote activism and systematic thinking. So each action counts. Don't fool yourself that it doesn't, it is. So, thank you.
So drop by drop, we create the ocean. Perfect, Erdem.
Well, scientific knowledge is very important. We need to convince people with scientific data. But let's also remember and remind other people about our bond to the Black Sea, which means emotions, which means memories as well. So my last message would be maybe let's empower ourselves to, while doing ocean literacy training, that it is also about, not only about head, but it's about heart and hands as well.
So this being translated, we launch a new concept, emotional science. So we can get ready for that. Thank you very much, distinguished speakers, for ice-breaking the first panel of the day. I hope you got inspired from all our discussions, and that you will continue it during the next coffee break that we are having. That is not just a coffee break, so we will climb down all those stairs for another reason. We will be launching also the poster exhibition, so you will get the chance to see and interact with some of the active stakeholders, because you said activism. Let's say how we can push for that. Thank you very much, and please be back. Please be back 11:15, Black Sea time.